Hi there, Carrie here. I haven't been doing a whole lot of videos lately on technique or tricks or tips. And part of that is purposeful, and part of it is because I've just had an enormous amount of work. And then on top of that, this year has been crazy. I had a certification I had to grab for hypnosis, and that took up some time, in addition to me still working full time. And then there was the Texas CSR, and got that under my belt. And then just in the last month, because long story short, half of you know, and half of you don't need to know. But I went ahead and went through NCRA's CRI programs for certified reporting instructor. So that is all completed, except for one of the requirements is you have to have passed the RPR WKT within 7 years. Well, it's been more than 7 years since I took one of those, so I have to take that again. Enrollment starts in December and the testing is in January, so I will be taking it at that time. But that's part of why you haven't seen me. What's the other reason? Because I'm trying to learn, as I might suggest to you, that you learn to flow with your energy and with your level of inspiration. Now, that's not to let you off the hook, to not do the things you know you need to do, but to just have those moments where you give yourself a little bit of slack. There was a coach that I worked with early on, and I've suggested this to some of the students, not just court reporting, but hypnosis also. Students that I've worked with, that you start keeping a calendar of three things every day: your level of mental focus and activity, your level of emotional focus and activity, and your level of physical focus and activity, call it. Because there are days when I feel them. I'm like physical, mental, emotional, I'm at the bottom. I just am. And no matter what I do, meditating, focusing, journaling, I'm just there. And one of my other hurdles in this lifetime is to learn to accept where I am in the moment. And if that's where I am in the moment, the cool part is it's not going to stay that way, because you basically got three, you got more, but at least three energy levels that are running all the time. You got physical, emotional, and mental. Now, when those all crest up to the top at the same time, bingo. You've got tests being passed. You've got projects being finished. You've got inspiration for the next big thing you want to focus on. But the rest of the time, it's kind of all three of those cycles going in different speeds, different cadence, different rhythms. And you all know what it's, well, you don't. Students might not know as much as working reporters what it feels like when you're in a room full of people and they're all speaking at a different rhythm, a different cadence, a different speed. And that can be so hard because it's like you're changing gears at every question and answer and every objection. It makes that reporting just so much more difficult because you've got to move into the energy that's in the room. So pay attention to your energy every day. And what I have found is that, thank goodness, especially through the CRI program, I realized, thank goodness, I'm at a point where everything was rising for me. And I was able to have the energy and the mental focus and the emotional stability and the physical tolerance to be able to get through that, because it was not easy. I was shocked, frankly, at how intense that program was, is it a 6 or 8 week program? And then a monumental final project that we had to do where we had to actually teach a class. So, and submit the video. So that was not one of my comfort zones. I did think it would be doing these all the time, but different arena, whole different subject, and being graded on it, being judged on it, being critiqued on what you're doing. Um, yeah, it was surprising. Anyway, but I realized coming off of that, it was like, God, I'm tired. Oh my gosh, I've got like no fresh new ideas. I mean, they come and they go, but all of a sudden it was like, I can't make a video. I'm not gonna make a video unless I'm inspired to make a video. So this is kind of a crossover because I'm not genuinely feeling very inspired, but this is what I'm going through. And it is a skill that I think reporters need to look at, you know. Do I beat myself up because I wasn't on top of the world yesterday, or was that just part of where I was in my mental, emotional, physical cycle of life? And to know that when you're at the top, it's not going to stay peaked out like that. It all flows and it all changes, and everything in the universe is going at a slightly different cycle. Call it a slightly different vibration, call it a slightly different, doesn't matter what you call it. I have a friend who studies human design, something that was developed in the 60s, and don't worry about it here and now. But that's one of the things she focuses on with her clients is the rhythm of their energy, their physical, emotional, and mental energy. Because think about it, if you're at a place where physically, you know, you're fed, you're nourished, you're rested, you're feeling like you've got the energy, the endurance, the stamina to be able to approach the machine and be on it. I'm talking to steno writers now, voice people, sorry. You can always transmute what I'm saying into what works for you. And then if you're at an emotional place where you are stable, you don't have emotions firing and triggering you erratically, you're at a good place where you don't even have to think about keeping it moderated. It just is happening. Ooh. And mentally, where, yeah, ADHD aside, doesn't matter because part of this journey is to learn to focus for a short period of time. And then your brain can go squirrel all the time, whenever, later, but not now. To learn to harness your ability to focus because you have it, it's in there. It got derailed early on when your neurology was developing, and that's not your fault. That's just the way it is. Makes us great reporters, actually, when we're in a room and we don't realize we're doing it. Those of us who are hypervigilant and ADHD, even OCD, you have a tendency to want to read the room. You're looking at microfacial expressions, even though you don't realize it, because you know who's going to talk next. You know where the next threat is coming from. That's what the programming says to you is there's always a threat. Be on the lookout, be vigilant, be hyper vigilant. It protects you. There's no threat, but that program is still running. Once we understand the program is running, we can make it run to our advantage and realize that ADHD is not a setback for a court reporter. It actually, through practice and some effort and understanding it, it's a superpower. It's part of what makes us great reporters and our tenacious ability to, in an OCD way, get it done, to keep doing it in a way that works and repeat it because your brain likes familiarity. It really does. And it wants anything that it can turn it into a routine to be a routine. So it doesn't have to think through every step every time. It just becomes automatic. And that's what the process of writing in the zone and writing automatically is all about. It's dropping from your head, thinking, analyzing space down into, some people call it the heart, some people call it your subconscious. It's dropping into the part of you that basically has control of everything about 90% of the time. Because anytime you're not consciously focused on something, you drop right into whatever program fits the moment. And that could be hopping in your car and driving. You're not thinking about it. It's just happening. And the next thing you know, you're where you intended to go, but you don't even remember how you got there. You were an alpha brain waved, and that's basically hypnosis. That's light hypnosis, but it's you dropping from where's the fog line? What's the speed limit? I mean, we're doing those things, but on a lower level. You're not, if it's a route you've gone 100 times, you're not going to sit there and super analyze how you're going to get there. You know how to get there. It's been practiced. It's been practiced to the point that it's automatic. It's routine. That's why we practice. People don't bother to tell you that. Every stroke you write is dropping that down into your subconscious and locking it into the program that is your dictionary. That is an automatic response if you let it be. I hope this has helped in some way. I still have several depositions to do this week, surprisingly. No big plans for Thanksgiving. Happy about that. My daughter's still visiting. I'm trying to talk her into us going out to dinner instead of trying to cook because the two of us are leaving on Sunday for a 14-day advanced workshop retreat with Dr. Joe Dispenza in Cancun. And I want to be able to just drop off the grid totally for 2 weeks. And just, especially with Mercury retrograde, just drop out a little bit to reset and regroup and reboot and relax and rest and do a whole lot of meditating at a different level than I am used to doing daily. Because the stuff I do daily is what I consider court reporter cooperative. It's like what's needed to keep our chattery mind at bay. But we don't need to be, I really do not believe we need to be doing an exorbitant number of hours per day in deep meditation, disconnected from the rest of the world. That's my journey. What's yours? You guys have a great day.